Welcome back to Video Game News. As always, this is Goku-san DBZ. Today's music choice I chose for background is from Minecraft. So with that said, this is for February the 6th, first edition of February. So first up, there's some deals going on right now on PSN with the Critics' Choice PSN sale going on. This is just a few highlighted games to mention. There's definitely a variety, so I recommend checking some of the deals out. There's definitely some good stuff, offers going on. And this is for both PS4 and PS5. So with that said, first up on sale right now you have Spider-Man Miles Morales. Is on sale for $29.99. Now, personally, I think that's more than worth it. Given I've done a full playthrough of Miles Morales, I will say the last boss battle is a pain, but overall, it's a great experience, and I honestly like Miles' electric abilities. I think make Miles a little bit more fun to play as than even Peter Parker in in the Marvel Spider-Man game. Overall, I prefer the story of Peter Parker's story, but gameplay-wise, I definitely have to give it to Miles Morales. Also, some more stuff on the PS5 side of things. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is on sale for $59.99, so it's only $10 off, but still pretty much a brand new game, you might as well say. $10 discount, it's not really bad, and I've heard nothing but pretty much positive so far about the game. Also, you have Tales of Arise, which if you played the Tales series, you know pretty much how it's going to be. It's on sale for $41.99, and it's still a relatively newer game as well. Now, on the bit older side of things, you have, of course, God of War, which is $9.99. Definitely superb. You definitely more than get your money's worth for $10. Also, you have Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now this is the PS4 version. It is on sale for $23.99. Definitely, I think, a very good deal, if you ask me. Also, Diablo 2 Resurrected is on sale for $29.99. If you've been wanting to play Diablo 2, maybe take advantage of this and get it for like $30. Also, Jedi Fallen Order is on sale for $13.99. Now, I will say, if you like games with good difficulty curves, and if you like Dark Souls type games, I think you'll genuinely enjoy Jedi Fallen Order. I definitely highly recommend it. Also, I'm a big fan of the actor who plays, of course, the young former Padawan, which, of course, also played in Gotham. But with that said, also you have probably one of the, if not the best current newer roguelike game of the indie scene, and that being Hades is on sale for $18.74. I highly recommend Hades. In my opinion, it's probably, as of the moment, it's pretty much duking it out for being my favorite roguelike game as of right now. It's pretty much between Hades and probably Risk of Rain 2. With that said, also Alan Wake Remaster is on sale for $23.99. Definitely something I'd recommend checking out if you like horror games or a lot of suspense in your game. I definitely highly recommend it. Also, you have Injustice 1. Now, this is like the ultimate version of Injustice 1, which includes all the DLC and everything included. And it is $3.99. You might as well say $4. You get Injustice 1 Ultimate version with all the DLC and everything. For $4, that's more than worth the deal, if you ask me. Also, on the PS5 only side of things, we have The Medium is on sale for $32.49. Obviously, a heavily inspired game, very much inspired by stuff like Silent Hill, which also has the same composer as the Silent Hill series. Also, you have Hollow Knight for $5.99, a superb basically Metroidvania type game, but at the same time with a difficulty curve, I would say a little bit more along the lines of Dark Souls, but with a very beautiful art style. Hollow Knight is probably one of the best looking games, in my opinion, in the indie scene. Also, we have Mortal Shell, which, of course, like I've already said, it's basically an indie version of Dark Souls, but with its own unique mechanics, which helps, I think, set it apart from Dark Souls. Now, just so you know, overall, the game is about, you can be in probably 6 hours, though there is now DLC and stuff that's been released not too long ago. So if you're curious, you can and you really like the game, which I think it's more than worth $15 if you ask me. And the fact you do have, like, different classes of characters you can possess, and I do really like the mechanics of the game. I like it has its own unique flair and style. And that's something you need. If you are going to have certain elements very much like Dark Souls, especially given this game really does look like it, specifically reminds me of Dark Souls 2. Which is a good thing, because that's my favorite of the Dark Souls series. Also, though, you have some classic games also on sale, in the sale going on. First up, you also have, of great indie games, you have Void Bastards for $13.19. A superb game I highly recommend. Also, you have The Wolf Among Us, another great game by some of the people that worked on the Telltale series. And I highly recommend it. It's more than worth the $3.74 asking price. Also, Psychonauts 2, a true classic action platformer from the PS2 or the 6th generation. But this is the PS2 port, though arguably PS2 does have some issues, sadly. A lot of people think, like, the original Xbox version is probably maybe the best port. But, unfortunately, but still, it's $4.99, $5. I think it's more than worth it for Psychonauts 1. It is definitely a cult classic. Also, some upcoming games, thought I'd quickly mention. You have new Yu-Gi-Oh game, which, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which launched technically a few days ago on February the 3rd. For mobile devices. Then we got a really good demo extended gameplay trailer and a breakdown of, like, the combat system and everything for the game Ghostwire Tokyo. It looks superb in my opinion. Also, we got a big state of play video showing in-depth stuff on Gran Turismo 7, so if you're into those simulation type racing games, check it out. Graphically, it is quite impressive, though I will still say, in my opinion, if you want a modern, like, racing type game, quality-wise, and just the feel, speaking as not a big racing fan, I still prefer Forza Horizon series. But to each their own. Also, PS5 surpasses 17 million units sold. So, congratulations. It's not bad, even though, given, I don't know how it's sold that many, given how hard it still is to find one. It's probably going to be another 2 years before I get my hands on one. Because I want to make sure it's an easy to find by then, hopefully, once the chip issues get sorted out. Also, I don't think the greatest side of things, but Electronic Arts, last quarter, one of its biggest ever, thanks to specifically titles like Apex Legends, FIFA, of course, which is known for microtransactions, or as Electronic Arts likes to call it, surprise mechanics. Also, Madden series. Rest in peace, John Madden. Also, a really cool developed game, a Bloodborne. Basically, it's a remake version of Bloodborne. It's what it'd be like if Bloodborne had been released on the original PlayStation. Now, look-wise and even some of the gameplay kind of reminds me of a classic horror game from PS1 called Nightmare Creatures, which is a superb game, I might add, though it does have its issues. But recently started checking out Maximilian Dude's playthrough. He did like a 5-hour stream playthrough of this cool, like, remake version of Bloodborne. It's really cool looking. I definitely highly recommend checking it out on Max's channel if you get a chance. Also, in a new comic book series, Bloodborne has a new comic book series as well in the works. It is set to come out in May, so just a few months from now. So definitely a few things going on right now for the Bloodborne franchise. Also, probably the biggest news over the past week was Sony did the acquisition and purchased Bungie. Now, my quick opinion on this is simple. I think it's a very smart idea, in my opinion, marketing-wise and profit-wise, since Sony is looking about trying to extend past just the PlayStation name. Specifically because, I think because some of their games that launch on PC have actually been selling very well. Specifically, God of War. Some estimates on Steam and stuff are saying that God of War has already sold like over 3 million copies on PC. So, that's huge. I mean, in less than a month, it has already sold over 3 million copies on PC. I think that says why Sony is now looking about extending more into the PC market. Because if a game, like close to 4-year-old game, God of War, can already sell in less than a month like over 3 million copies, I think that says a lot. Now, I don't know how well so far that Forza Horizon has sold overall. I mean, not Forza Horizon, but whatever. But, and a few other things as well, of course, recently got released. And I think with the sales numbers still so far, I definitely understand why they purchased Bungie, plus the fact that Microsoft announced over the next several years, by like 2026, I believe, they're going to have like 10 basically online like multiplayer type games, and that makes sense why they would purchase Bungie, because Bungie has a lot of experience with like online multiplayer type games, thanks to, well, Destiny 1 and 2, which have become juggernaut titles in the FPS genre, or in the subgenre of space FPS games. Now, arguably, I think quality-wise, I still have to say, in my opinion, the best series in that subgenre is the Halo series, which, of course, Bungie started, and Bungie was involved with Halo up until, like, Halo Reach. So, but I think definitely from a marketing standpoint and a business perspective, the purchase of Bungie makes a lot of sense to me. It's not about trying to compete with Microsoft. It's not like some YouTubers, like, specifically, I don't know why Max immediately jumped to that conclusion, or even Angry Joe and others, but I think actually people that got it right, from the perspective on this thing, specifically Spawnwave, which is a great YouTuber, I may add, but he made the most sense, and I agree with him. Looking at things from more of a business and marketing standpoint, Microsoft or Sony's move actually makes a lot of logical sense from a business perspective. And at the end of the day, they're looking at the larger picture, like legacy, like surviving many years to come. That's what Sony is doing. While Microsoft and Sony continue looking at stuff like that, we have Nintendo in the corner, still chewing on, to quote Yahtzee, eating gummy bears in a space helmet. Makes the most sense, even though I absolutely love Nintendo, and pretty much always have, going back to Super Nintendo. Still, they are definitely off in their own little nostalgic, comfortable bubble. But, to be fair, it's actually helped them survive this many years, is because of that. Also, Resident Evil 7 Remake director Tetsu Nomura promises even more new Final Fantasy VII products, or as well as projects in the future. Great, as if they haven't already done enough for Final Fantasy VII. It's sad. I mean, I like 7, but it's overrated, let's be honest. Final Fantasy VIII is one of the most criminally underrated Final Fantasy games here in the West, in my opinion, and my personal favorite, so at least I'm willing to admit my bias. Also, though, in news that Amazon Prime price is increasing in not-so-game news. A year membership of Prime is going from $119 a year to $139 a year, so a $20 jump. And if you're doing it per monthly, it's going from $13 a month to $15 a month. So going up $2. As well as Netflix is going up $1 to $14.99, let's say $15 a month. So yeah. Also, King of Fighters 15, which is coming out very soon, in fact. It's coming out the 14th of this month. I've already pre-ordered the Digital Deluxe Edition, which gets a few extra bonuses, like the fact you can actually play the game 3 days earlier than everyone else if you pre-order the deluxe version. Plus the fact that also includes, of course, if you pre-order the game, 2 special skins. One of them being the Terry skin from Mark of the Wolves, which was enough to convince me to pre-order the game. But with that said, also King of Fighters 14, you have 2 versions, or 15. You have the $59.99 basic version, and then you have the $84.99 version, which includes like the 2 DLC teams, which they've already announced, of course. In total, you got, right now, 2 of the 4 DLC teams have been announced. That's 6 more additional characters. Total, there's going to be 12 DLC characters by the end of this year. And there's going to be 39 characters in the base roster. So by the end of this year, King of Fighters 15 will have 51 characters. That's quite impressive. But, with that said, also, of the DLC teams announced, Team 1, basically Garu, or whatever, Mark of the Wolves, is going to be launched, of course, this March. So, only another month to go. And, of course, of the big title characters in this first 3, Rock Howard, which is definitely awesome. I'm not surprised he's a DLC character, because SNK knows what people will buy. You have 2 other characters. The Rock is the main key. Then Team 2 has been announced for May this year, and that is Team Southtown, with characters like specifically Yamagashi, hopefully I'm saying his name correct, Billy Kane, and of course the most important, the man himself, Rock Howard's dad, Geese. So, within the first 2, you'll have both of the Howard family. So I'm definitely looking forward to then creating my own custom team of course, Rock Howard, Geese, and, of course, Terry. But with that said, I'll see everyone next time. Stay safe. The other 2 DLC teams will begin released. One sometime in the summer for Team 2, and Team 3 will be, or Team 4 will be released in the fall. So with that said, everyone stay safe out there. Have a good rest of February. And stay safe, because, man, the weather's not been good as of late. It's ice and snow where I am. But anyways, with that said, I'll see y'all again soon enough. Hopefully you enjoyed the music in the background. And live long and prosper.